cancellation. I've never had an issue with this. Damn it. Can you hear me now? Damn it. I'm screwing up. Sorry. I can fix it. I can fix it right now. I hear it when I'm talking. What's up? What's up, wrestling fans? It is your boy Jake yet again, coming from the Power of StreamYard with Rob Steele. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself, Rob?
Oh, yes. My name is Rob Steele. I'm the co-owner of a Christian promotion, the only Christian promotion here in Canada called CNWA Wrestling. We operate in Edmonton, Calgary, and Winnipeg. We started in 2020, but I've been involved in professional wrestling since 2014. As a booking agent, work with names like Tommy Dreamer, Jesse Neal, Mr. Anderson, Kenny Omega, Rene Dupree. The list goes on and on. Just different stars that came into the Alberta region. I've worked with a variety of different promotions in our area. So
did you work with TNA with Impact?
No, but I've worked with guys from those companies.
Yeah.
And I've had interactions with Bill Burns, who used to run NWA. Sorry, my daughter.
I know. And like I was going to tell you in the pre-show, in the pregame, we do have this show's crazy. We just control chaos. Control chaos.
Yes, I have two daughters, ages 5 and 12, and they're feuding right now. That will be probably, who knows, in 10 years, this could be the showcase of my promotion. The battling sisters, like Bret Hart and Owen Hart did back in the day.
Yeah.
I call my little one the Filipina assassin because she's already mastered the frog splash on her sister.
Yeah. By the way, R.I.P. Scott Hall.
Yes. Yeah. It's very tragic. I've never had the opportunity to meet Scott Hall, but I met Kevin Nash about 10 years ago at a local show. He was a very nice gentleman, and my business partner, who co-owns CNWA, actually had Scott Hall in a few shows like 10 years ago for himself when he ran his own independent promotion.
Yeah.
So we have a little bit of a history with the outsiders and stuff.
Yeah.
And speaking of Scott Hall, one of his friends, Justin Credible, is going to be appearing we're actually going to be making our Montana debut in Butte, Montana on July 4th. We have Justin Credible and lots of great names appearing on that card.
Yeah. And Bobby hasn't shown up yet. You sent Bobby the link?
Yeah, he's trying to get in right now.
It's easy. StreamYard is easy.
Yes, I just did it through Facebook. It was very easy.
Yeah. And thing is I see when I was watching Kenny, I've always seen you in the chat. Kenny Bowen. I've always saw you interesting. Sorry.
Yeah, like I said, me and Mr. Kenny Bowen have been friends for about 2 or 3 years. I have his phone number. He has my phone number. We've chatted on the phone a few times. Like we were planning to bring him up to Canada and do some speaking and stuff, Q&A and stuff with his son. And, he was going to bring up Rico too, but I don't know. I always try to be, mutual. Like I'm really good friends with Teddy Hart and like some of the Harts around, Julie Hart. And I'm also really good friends with Teddy Hart's aunt who's going to be launching Hart Legacy. And they have a big show in Elmira, New York. They're probably going to get about 4,000 people at this show, so probably be one of the biggest indie shows probably in the United States this year.
Are you talking about Martha Hart?
Who?
Martha Hart, Owen's wife.
Oh no, I'm more affiliated with Julie Hart, who is Bret Hart's first wife, and the Dynamite Kid's original first wife who's from, and the owner of Hart Legacy, her name is Stacy Angel, and she was the wife of Smith Hart, Bret Hart's brother. So Teddy's her nephew, and she's kind of about 10 years ago launched this promotion called Hart Legacy with Teddy Hart, and they've run a few shows here over the years up here in Canada, and this will be their first U.S. show, and it's looking pretty good. I think they've already sold about 2,000 tickets already.
Yeah. the thing is, it's I was nervous going into this interview. I was nervous
Oh,
because I didn't know a lot about you because I didn't check Wikipedia beforehand, like I do a lot of times. Check Wikipedia or other things about you.
well, my background is I've been working in wrestling since 2014. I've been a music promoter since 2005. So, I've usually worked a lot in the Christian industry. So I've worked with a lot of like top quality Christian artists, and a few hard rock bands. And, I've always dabbled in pro wrestling and music, like mostly hard rock and punk, because that's kind of what I grew up on.
Yeah, and the thing is, this year, 2021 and 2022 is actually a good year for wrestling because we have several, and we're going into WrestleMania season.
Oh, yes.
Who's Bobby Briscoe? Bobby Bristow, or I can't say that right.
Is he here yet?
He's in the chat. He's in the YouTube chat.
Okay.
Hold on.
Is Bobby there?
Bobby's in the YouTube chat.
Okay.
I don't have a link to him. You want?
Just give me 1 second. I'll try to send him a message.
With the StreamYard link. I sent you a StreamYard link. Sorry.
Where is it? I'll forward it to him right now.
All right. I'm sorry. I'm like shaking right now because I'm nervous.
Oh, don't be nervous. I've done a few podcasts myself doing interviews, so you're doing very well. You're doing an amazing job, sir.
Yeah, and thing is, I get nervous because I don't want to screw up or.
Oh, you're doing fine. It's going very well.
Yeah. Do you know Andre Corvio? I can't see his listening. Andre, he wrestling with wrestling.
Yes, he's a very good friend. He's a good friend of mine. He's actually going to be, when we're going to be doing some TV tapings, he's going to be my taper. He's going to be doing commentary for us. I know Andre. I know him very well out of Calgary. We chat all the time.
I did a show from 2017 to 2020 where we did a wrestling review show, and it was the Chris Peach show where we did the Monday Night Review on WrestlingWithWrestling.com.
Mm-hmm.
So
he's actually
sorry.
He actually aired some of our content last year. So he's very much affiliated. He'll be pretty much our media guy.
Yeah. He's a good guy. He's a great person. He's a great media.
Oh, yes, he is, and he doesn't get a lot of credit that he should get. He's very very good at what he does.
Hey,
and he's also. Is Bobby logged in yet?
Not yet. Here's the thing. There's a bot right under us. There's a bot. I'm the only one that can see when he comes in. I'll let you know because it will be brought in when.
I guess I'll try the link again. I tried sharing it with him before. Okay. I just sent him the link, so let's see if he's able to get in.
All right.
There it is.
Sorry.
You're doing fine. Yeah, if you have any questions about Canadian wrestling, I can answer.
What are the rules in Canadian wrestling? Are you allowed? What are some of the restrictions?
It's pretty much the same here. The only difference we have is we don't there's no like state athletic commissions. Wrestlers don't need like licenses or anything. Promoters don't need license or anything. So the fortunate thing, they did away with that a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
So we don't have that anymore, but basically Canadian wrestling, a lot of it's like the old like NWA style, a lot of like we have like a lot of the old Stampede style. We have a lot of like bunkhouse matches. We love battle royals up here.
Yeah.
We have some ladder matches were actually developed here. So ladder matches on an indie show here is very common. And we have some great talent up here, like Johnny Devine from Impact Wrestling has a wrestling school up here. Bruce Hart from the Hart family has a wrestling school. Philip LaFawn, former WWF tag, WWF star, New Japan star, has a school up here. So we have a lot of international talent that actually retired here and opened up wrestling schools.
I'm not gonna read this, but I'm not gonna read that. We have answered that question in the pre-show, and he said that he's trying to stay neutral about that. I don't know who that is, Brian DeLin. Someone who. Sorry.
Oh, about.
It's asking about the plane ticket.
Oh yeah, we just never got around to buying him a plane ticket. It was just a gag he did just to be fun, but we were eventually. Yeah. But COVID hit. He was going to come in March 2020, but COVID hit and everything locked down. So, that Filipino trip might happen, but maybe not till like the end of this year, maybe 2023. But he might be moving himself down there anyway. So
yeah,
we're supposed to, if he's already down there, I'll meet up with him and we'll plan something from there, because I'm actually going to the Philippines myself in July to visit some family. So if he's down there, I'll be down in the Philippines, meeting with family, but then also meeting with some of the local promotions there and, talking about, and I'll also be hanging out with my champion I have in the Philippines. So, yeah. Which is a wonderful talent named Ricky Sage. He was actually trained by Tajiri. So, They call Tajiri Uncle Tajiri in the Philippines, so that's pretty cool. And the pro wrestling scene in there is very healthy. They get 1,000 people per show, so it does do very well there.
What do you think about in Major League Wrestling, MLW?
Oh, I'm a fan. I watch a little bit here and there. Our TV champion, actually, his name's Jason Duggan. He's actually done appearances in MLW here and there. And one of our good friends, Beastman, was also in MLW for a bit. So, we're quite familiar with the product. And, I used to watch MLW back in the day in 2003, the old tape trading days. So I have some old MLW tapes on VHS and early DVD. So been very aware of the product for years.
Yeah, the thing is, it's I've been watching it lately because it comes on YouTube every Thursday about 6 times, and I love the product. I love what they're doing with Court Bauer and Cesar Duran, Luis, who's now Cesar Duran, who used to be Dario Cueto in Lucha Underground.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm trying to think any of our Canadian guys have been in MLW, but I can't really think. Well, I know Teddy Hart was there for a bit and Harry was there for a bit. I've had some exchange with Harry Smith in the past too, being friends with Teddy.
Yeah.
But Teddy Hart's also a very controversial character, but a lot of the reports about him aren't true. He's a very nice guy and he's just trying to move on with his life.
Have you ever had any, I know you've been you had dealings with Kenny Omega. Have you ever had dealings with Don Callis?
Not really, but my business partner, he's from Winnipeg, so he's known Don for like 20 years. So he used to do, Don used to appear on shows with him. So my business partner, his name is Louis Henderson. He's been a pro wrestling manager in Winnipeg for 20 years, so he very well knows Don, and he remembers Kenny Omega when he was like a 15-year-old kid breaking in the business. And we have a lot of guys actually from Winnipeg that broke in with Kenny Omega and know Don very well. Our Canadian champion, his name is Mentolo. He broke in with Kenny, and they were tag team champions in Winnipeg for many years together. So a lot of familiarity with a lot of our talent there.
The thing is, and I also see, Chris Jericho is from Winnipeg. They built him from Winnipeg.
Yes, he is from Winnipeg. He was born in New York, but his dad was a professional hockey player who played for the New York Rangers. And when Jericho was 5, he moved back to Winnipeg to play for the Winnipeg Jets and just kept the family in Winnipeg. Yeah, Chris Jericho grew up in Winnipeg, went to college in Winnipeg. Finished his high school here. He still has a house here, so he's never given up his Winnipeg roots.
Yeah,
Winnipeg has a very, very rich history. They have Kenny Omega came from there. Chris Jericho came from there. Don Callis came from there. Steve Corino is from Winnipeg. Allison Danger's from Winnipeg. Sarita is from Winnipeg, and even Rosemary is from Winnipeg. So there's a lot of even current talent that came from Winnipeg. It's there's a big joke. They call it the capital city of pro wrestling of the universe. There's always a big debate who's the real capital city, Calgary or Winnipeg. But Winnipeg has had more recent big name stars come out.
Yeah, the thing is, it's like people don't realize that people think that Toronto has, but a lot of times, I can't say it right.
Toronto is a very rich wrestling history too. They have a lot of big stars from there too.
Calgary has a lot. The Hart Dungeon is in Calgary.
Oh yes, and even current stars like Jinder Mahal, former WWF champion. He's from Calgary. I actually met him about 10 years ago at a few local shows. So he's a good. He's from the famous Gama Singh family that headlined Stampede Wrestling for over 20 years.
Yeah.
Like
someone is actually saying someone just yelled, "Stop walking around! You're making them dizzy. You're making them dizzy."
Sorry, my daughter. Oh, they're watching live? Okay. Yeah, sorry. I have a kid, so I'm just kind of chasing her.
Robert Sampson's in the chat. Oh, Robert Sampson. This has been Jay Walsh saying this is I need to turn down my headphones. Jay Walk says this is fantastic. Midnight Tree says no worries. Jay Walk has got a question. What is your question, Jay Walk? I'm sorry about that. It's making people dizzy. The reason why I try to stay in these interviews, try to stay stationary. Try to stay in and stuff. Yeah.
my little daughter's hand. What was their question?
Jay Walk has a question. I'm waiting for him to write the question. I don't know if he wants to. The thing is, it's let me see if I'm reading. I'm like doing a lot of stuff. Sorry.
Oh, sure. It's going very well.
Yeah, this is a good show. This is actually, this is what I want on this. I want people to meet these wrestling stars, wrestling people. Because there's so many people. Wrestling is a good thing. Wrestling, I like Canadian wrestling better than U.S. wrestling because you guys brought big stars to the main stage.
Yes, our local scene is very strong right now. Yeah. Our show, sometimes we get shows of not huge crowds, but usually 500 people when we have bigger names come in. Like this weekend, we have I think somebody from Game Changer Wrestling. I can't remember his name, but he's in the area right now, and we have Silas Young from Ring of Honor coming in about a couple of weeks too for some of our local shows.
Yeah, so I think he was also in JCW, that ICP wrestling show they did back in the 2000s. I don't want to say the name because it has a cuss word in it, but I'll say JCW, Juggalo Championship Wrestling.
Yeah, I'm a huge ICP fan.
Yeah.
I actually saw them live in 2016 in a concert. It was one of the funnest concerts I've ever been to. So I'm an old Juggalo. I was all theatrical. I had makeup and everything, and wore old jeans, old 90s style clothes. So it was like a big masquerade, Paul. It was a very fun concert. And I'm actually good.
I've got a question up there. What do you think? What do you know about MLW and Court Bauer regarding low pay for his athletes? Several speak of contract they're stuck in their pay very little weekly.
Um, well, I know one of my guys. He does appearances, and they just pay him the minimum, like just like a few hundred, like a standard indie pay for his appearances, being on television. Some of the bigger names, they only get like their standard rate. Like some guys are only a few, I can't say the exact amount, but some guys might be a few $100s a night, and they just kind of put that out like in a contract. So their contract would only be like maybe 10 or 12,000 a year for some of the talent. It's like lower than like a McDonald's works at minimum wage. So their contracts aren't too impressive.
Is Bobby trying to get in?
I will check. I will see if only Bobby knows is coming in.
Yeah, because I've been promoted. I did a rerun last night when I went to bed about like 2:00 in the morning, and I ran a 4-hour rerun. I put be back at 2 p.m. with Rob Steele, because I was actually nervous to bring up the bowling thing because
I have been in like very controversial moments. Here's one you might not know. It's you remember back in 2017 when Jeff Jarrett got drunk up in Canada and got fired from Impact Wrestling?
Yeah.
I was involved in that because the promotion there, me and my church, like we bring in a lot of pro wrestlers, and we actually pay Jeff Jarrett a deposit to come speak in our church. And he got drunk on the Friday night, and then got mad at the promoter, and then jumped on a plane Saturday morning and flew out. And then we had to do paperwork with Impact saying why Jeff Jarrett no-showed, and that led to his termination from Impact, unfortunately, because he ripped off a local promotion. Plus, he ripped off a church. Any type of publicity like that is not very positive for a wrestling promotion. So I even had personal emails between me and Bob Ryder, who unfortunately passed away last year, who was the head of talent relations then, about the whole Jeff Jarrett situation. So, yeah, I'm glad he's totally recovered and, doing well and appearing on the indie scene, and had a great stint with WWE. He's really turned his life around. But at that time, it was a very we were unaware of his drinking problems. So we were very surprised when he got drunk Friday night. And
did you know, a lot of people, when Kurt Angle was in the early day, in his early TNA days, that people were saying he was on the Percocets, Kurt Angle.
I'm not sure, but I think so. I have a friend from TNA, I won't say his name, but he told me a lot of stuff, like the stuff about Dixie Carter. Yeah. That was all true. Her and the boys, and being very flirtatious, and like she even had a boyfriend in Impact Wrestling. So I won't say his name, but that was kind of a lot of those rumors in Impact Wrestling are true about that.
Robert Sampson wants to know if you're going to be doing shows in Hawaii.
Maybe that's a little bit out of our way. We're gonna be doing shows in Montana because that's close, and we have alliances in Texas, so we'll be doing shows in Texas and in Arkansas and Oklahoma. And we're planning to do. We're actually going to be really outrageous. We're also going to be doing some shows in the Philippines and Mexico, hopefully. But we're also going to be doing something really crazy. We're planning, if we can get enough funding, we're going to go to some organizations. But Bobby says it won't let me in.
All right, hold on. Let me try to fix this. I think it's his browser or something.
Yeah, he might be. He works too, so he might be in his truck. So, the Wi-Fi in some of these rural areas aren't the best.
Yeah.
Especially when you're on the data.
I have a question. There's a question on the screen for you. So, in your personal opinion, is that why stars, especially Fatu, I think he means Jacob Fatu, haven't left MLW because he's stuck in a contract that, from I gather, pays as little as $225 to $425 max pay-per-view?
Yeah, he might be a little more. I think he's a little bit bigger name, so he's a little bit up, a little bit up. Probably he's probably closer to like a few $100 higher. I don't see the exact amount, but you kind of get, when you book a lot of talent, even from Impact Wrestling and stuff, you can kind of guess what their average pay would be. But yeah, for some of the lower guys, definitely 224 to like the 425, like the openers, like there could be even some guys getting $60 to $100 per appearance. So,
Yeah.
Like I heard their contracts are like no less than like 12,000 a year, some of them or less. So, that's why a lot of them take so many independent dates they can.
Sorry if I'm like looking at the window every few because I live in a neighborhood that is so bunched up that when I hear a horn, I think it's coming in from my yard.
Oh wow!
And I live in a bad neighborhood, so yeah, I live in a park. Yeah, don't want to talk about that.
I my neighborhood's okay. I live in what you call a townhouse, so, but yeah, like 225. Like yes, there are MLW guys that are that price, but But I think,
sorry.
But Jacob Fatu would be substantially a bit higher than 425. I can say for sure.
By the way,
being a former MLW world champion.
They booked on one of the Super Brawl. They booked Enzo versus Casey Navarro.
Cool.
They booked Enzo, dude. Enzo. I've heard stories that Enzo is not a good worker. He loves to hurt people.
Yeah, I don't know. I've heard different opinions. Like I had a friend who was affiliated with us. Unfortunately, he passed away a couple of years ago. But he interviewed Enzo in 2020, and he said Enzo was nothing but a gentleman. Yeah. So I don't know. I guess it all depends on who knows him and who he's comfortable with. I guess if he doesn't know you, he can come off as a jerk. But if he knows you and he feels comfortable around you, he can be quite easygoing. It's like any other wrestler. But for me, like personally, the most psychotic wrestler I ever worked with was Vampiro. He's very bipolar because he has mental health issues. So, one moment he could say he's your best friend, the next moment he's swearing at you and calling you a mother effer and putting voodoo curses on you. Yeah, he's a very eccentric character. He believes in ritual magic and the occult, and he has some pretty crazy stories. He's a pretty wacky dude, Vampiro.
Big Vito LaGrasso. Big Vito. You know who Big Vito is?
Yes, I had some interactions with him in 2014 and 15, and he's a good guy. We almost had him to come into Canada a couple of times for local promotions when I was doing booking agents for these indie promotions, but it just didn't work out, I guess. But the promoter just didn't want to pay his fee for coming in. But I didn't think it was too expensive, but I think the promoter just wasn't up to paying that much of a fee to have him come in. But he's a good guy. We've had a few interactions in the past. I know him and Kenny Bowen don't get along very well.
Yeah. And also, and Miss Noel's not doing good. Vito's wife's not doing good. She had another stroke.
Oh no!
She had a stroke this year, and she's been and then so Vito's having to take care of her. So
that's why he's working again. Because I saw he worked a show last weekend for So and he's going under Skull Von Krosh, his old name from like.
Here's Bobby. Bobby is in. Is this him?
Yes, that is Mr. Bobby Joe Briscoe.
What's up, Bobby?
Sorry about that. Hello, how you doing?
How you doing today? Ladies and gentlemen, awesome. the U.S. champion of the promotion. I can't remember the promotion's name.
Oh, CNWEA.
WEA.
CNWEA or sorry, I can't.
CNWEA.
All right.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a long name.
Yeah. Only Bobby knows.
Only Bobby knows, man.
Yep. On the t-shirt.
How you doing?
I'm doing good. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good out here in the place only Bobby knows.
Yeah. You know, how long you been in the business, Bobby?
I debuted in 2020.
So 2 years.
Yeah, about 2 years.
So before or during the COVID era?
Right at the start of it, I was training before COVID started. I started training in 2019.
Yeah. Here's the thing. In 2020, we lost a lot of people. We lost a few people in the wrestling business in that area. Sorry. Did I do something wrong, Rob?
Oh no. I yeah
Uh,
yeah we did lose a lot of people. I I had some friends. I lost some friends in wrestling, like Ashley Mazzaro, who died in that was before COVID, but I was friends with her, and she passed away unfortunately from suicide. But what happened was she was left unsupervised, and when people are on medication for suicide prevention and they're left alone for an afternoon, that's all it takes. That's what unfortunately what happened to her.
we lost. We also lost Hannah Kimura in 2020. I think 2020 or 2021. We lost Hannah Kimura.
Yes, I think it was due to depression and bullying online.
Yeah.
I think that's what led to it, because a lot of these girls get like creepy DMs and obsessed fans, and they can we have some female talent that have had some pretty creepy messages from fans and weird requests, and sometimes you laugh it off, but who knows what she was going through at that time.
Yeah.
Man.
Last question. Last question, and email you can leave. Email you can leave that because it messes when I have notifications on Twitter, and anytime they pop up, I can't click on anything. So sorry.
Oh, you want some more Vampiro stories?
Any stories?
Oh my goodness. Vampiro is quite the character. I won't go into too much details, but in February 2021, Vampiro wanted me to book him a tour in Canada, and that's when we were going under a major lockdown, so there was like nothing open. But he wanted like a crazy thing, like if I didn't get him these bookings, he would like lose his house type thing. And he said because of me, I lost his house and everything, but he seems fine now. So I don't know. Vampiro always seems to be like working an angle, and I think he was just trying to get into the Christian market. He wasn't the first Christian person he hit up. So I had a humorous exchange with some other Christian promoters on their dealings with Vampiro, but surprisingly, his shoot job is he actually works for the Salvation Army as a guidance counselor. So he's an interesting character, that's for sure.
Yeah. Do you remember when Vince Russo tried to get into the Christian market with his Ring of Glory show that he tried to do? They asked him to do Ring of Glory back in 2005.
Oh, yes. I have the DVD, and I actually have had some exchanges with Mr. Russo. Eventually, he actually is still a Christian, and he's actually in talks to maybe come to Canada and speak at some churches. So, like, his part about his faith is actually very true. He's a good guy. He's actually really good friends with Mr. Bowen, too. He's very down to earth.
Yeah.
But plus, on April 10th, my good friend Only Bobby Knows, you have a show in California, don't you? Can you tell us a little bit about it?
Yeah. Yes, we got a great show out there. It's actually Pacheco, right next to San Francisco. It's in the Bay Area. We've got some big names come on. I mean, we got Teddy Hart, Rudy Boy Gonzalez, the guy that trained Daniel Bryan. I'm going to wrestle Lord Mitchell Taylor in a steel cage. We also got Brandon Groom, a former MMA fighter and a former WWE development superstar, and a man named Mitch Clark. An up-and-coming name named Spider, Rick Vane. He's going to be there. The Flying Lion, our Grand Union champion, Dalton Charles, one of Teddy's good friends, a friend of mine now that I've met out from New Jersey. There's a lot of – it's going to be an interesting show, but the cage match with Lord Mitchell Taylor I'm looking forward to. I'm looking for ending the feud and taking care of Lord Mitchell Taylor, man. He's getting kind of, out of line quite a bit still. And, I've took him coast to coast. This will be our final match.
Yeah.
So we've had 3 matches. This should be our final big match.
The rubber match.
Yes.
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 Yes. Are you 2-0 now, Mr. Bobby?
We a what?
Are you 2 and has Lord Mitchell Taylor beat you yet, or you hold all the victories over him so far?
Mitchell Taylor's got a victory over me in Florida. It was actually a DQ victory. He cheated with the chair. Yeah, he likes to cheat a lot.
Oh, okay. But you actually pinned him, so you're actually more ahead than he is.
Yeah, I pinned him in Mississippi, and then I pinned him in a tag match last year at our first chair metal wrestling show. But this will be.
I live in Mississippi, and I know a lot. I know a lot of the cities in this town, in this state.
It was with Southern Championship Wrestling, and it was Long Beach, Mississippi. Actually, it was like by the Gulf right there. I've been a lot of places, so I don't have it detailed down the address, but it's on my YouTube account if you want to watch the match.
Bobby, the Bobby Briscoe account.
It's actually only Bobby Knows account.
All right. Sorry, you came in on the Bobby Bristow account on YouTube.
Yeah, I had to make a separate one. There's only Bobby Knows account. It's got most of my matches. The Bobby Joe Bristow account doesn't have all the matches on there.
Yeah.
But they're both good.
Yeah. The thing is, it's like now there's we're going up. Next weekend is one of the best weekends in wrestling, WrestleMania weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And we get to see FTR versus the Briscoes for the belts, for the tag team titles. I'm very excited for because Briscoes is good. I'm a Briscoes fan. I love the Briscoes.
Nice. Yes, they're great. They're a great tag team.
I've got some good history with WrestleMania weekend. I actually won the U.S. title last year on WrestleMania weekend in Florida, right in the same neighborhood as WrestleMania 37. I beat Psycho Stan, a veteran down there in Lakeland, Florida, and won the CNWA U.S. title. I'm looking to do some more fun on WrestleMania weekend. I got some big plans coming up, and I will be near WrestleMania.
Yes. And July 4th, you're going to be in Butte, Montana, defending that U.S. belt against, who knows, maybe even like a Hart member. Who knows?
Yes, I'm looking being in Montana. I'm looking May 27th, possibly being in Canada. I've had a little trouble with the COVID stuff at the border, but I should be in Canada in May 27th if everything goes right. Montana on
July 4th.
July 4th, yeah.
Yes,
that'll be a great day.
We have an all-star cast. We got Ace Austin from Impact Wrestling. We have former ECW star Justin Credible. We have Ring of Honor Impact star Matt Taven. We have Impact star Hernandez. We got former Global Force Wrestling Women's Champion Christine Von Eerie, and we also have NWA star Aaron Idol Stevens and former indie women's star April Hunter, plus a lot of great stars like Brandon Groom and Spider, Only Bobby Knows, Flying Lion, and we, former NWA Tag Team Champions, the Heat Seekers. So it's going to be an all-star show, and I think we're going to get a good crowd for that.
Are you going to be in Alaska? Are you guys going to be doing shows in Alaska?
I've been kind of told not to go up there because of WrestleCon runs up there by the promoter, but we'll probably be running in like the Yukon and the Northwest Territories and Nunavut, like the Arctic Territories up there. Plus, we're planning to go to Greenland and Iceland of all places in the near future. Yeah. Just got to fundraise for that. So that's something me and Bobby have been discussing a bit, and we have a lot of big names on board that want to come to that tour. So, you might see Ace Austin or Teddy Hart or, Madman Fulton and Hernandez and, Jay Lethal in Greenland of all places. But,
wrestling to me, this is what I like. This is why I made this podcast, is to bring It started out as a wrestling. I was a wrestling guy, but it got burnt out because of WWE.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I was fixing to say a cuss word, but I caught myself beforehand. Because I'm like I know I'm around Christians here, so and I'm a Christian myself. I was raised in the Southern Baptist
Nice.
Church.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm a good old fashioned Pentecostal boy. My dad's a pastor. My dad's been a pastor for about 43 years, and he's very involved in the Christian music scene. He actually has a popular radio show in Canada. Like he gets about 400,000 viewers every day, and about 100,000 in our city. So, he's interviewed names like like major Christian artists to Billy Graham, to Franklin Graham, he's even had AJ Styles and Mark Merrow, and haven't got Sting yet, but we've had at Road Warrior Animal, Hacksaw Jim Duggan, and a few Christian names appear on our show.
R.I.P. Animal, R.I.P. Road Warrior Animal, R.I.P.
Oh yes, he was a great guy. I talked to him quite a bit, and he never got up here to Canada for us, but he did do a few radio interviews with my father. So, he was a good guy, and he was in the works to come. Actually, he wanted to come up here to Canada and speak at some churches. He was very passionate about his faith, and
Why that says who knew that Jesus wore shades? That's not Jesus. That's only Bobby knows.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's no secret. Only Bobby knows as a Christian. I've been one my whole life, and I will be into the next life. Lord, I have a great relationship with the Lord.
Yep.
I don't really have a domination. I'm kind of non-denomination, but I am a major Christian in my life. With that, God's my everything. Well, He is why I have anything I got going on. So definitely.
My dad was actually a good Southern Christian man who, in 2020, actually went home to the Lord. Went home to the Lord, and we get to see him one day when we go to heaven. I know that. I know that's a little bit. I know a lot of people that are saying, "Oh, this is unsub, unfollow," because I just said. But here's the thing: I'm just saying I'm a Christian. I believe in the Lord Jesus Christ. John 3:16. So God so loved the world because I'm God's son.
Right. No shame. I will never deny. That's the one thing you don't do is never deny the Lord in front of other men. Right.
Look every 5 seconds to see. People do stuff. Sorry.
Yeah, he's just kind of watching his yard because he said he lives in a rough neighborhood.
Yeah.
My neighborhood's pretty safe, but
yeah.
The only
Sorry.
We also wanted to announce that the Flying Lion will be defending the Grand Union title in a Scott Hall tribute ladder match against a mystery opponent.
Nice.
That's our other match that we're kind of looking forward to. And then we're going to have a big 6-man tag match with really a surprise who's in that match too. But we're looking at members like Teddy Hart, Brandon Groom, and Rudy Boy Gonzalez, and a couple other guys that should be in that match.
Yes, he's going to have Mitch Clark, who's actually a former UFC fighter. He's a UFC veteran, and he was on Ultimate Fighter and stuff. He's now dabbled in pro wrestling. He's now in pro wrestling, but he's the real deal. Like he wants to come to San Francisco, and I think he wants to work Brandon Groom or a name like that. But we've had talks about him working Dan the Beast Severn or Shannon the Cannon in the near future, and other MA wrestlers. So maybe even Cam Shamrock, you never know, especially with our association with Heart Legacy, because Ken Shamrock has done a few appearances for Heart Legacy and Frank Mir. So there's a lot of MA/wrestling dream matches you might see somewhere on the indie scene somewhere in the near future.
Last week I had Brady Hicks from Pro Wrestling Inside, Pro Wrestling Illustrated.
Nice.
On my show. And we get to, I wanted these shows. Here's the thing. I love wrestling. I might have people that are not wrestling streamers on here, but I do talk wrestling. I love talking indie shows the best wrestling that I've ever seen. It was one of my favorite things is seeing like Wahoo McDaniel versus Manny Fernandez. Wahoo
Wow.
versus Manny. I watched it on ESPN Classic on AWA.
The best live match
who
I
would you-
think of. Oh, sorry. I think the best live match I've ever seen was
I'm sorry.
Backlash 2004. It was Chris Benoit versus Shawn Michaels versus Triple H in the main event. You should have seen the roof come off of the arena when Benoit won. Unfortunately, he did heinous acts and stuff, but before then he was people forget, but he was a good wrestler.
Yes, he was.
Regarding Vampiro, he kind of involved with some shady people in a Ponzi scheme.
I've never heard that, but Vampiro is a character, and he's always out there to make a buck, and he will try to make you feel guilty. Like, if I still have his text messages, and they are crazy. Like, the voicemails were out of this world, calling me a thief, a phony, just because stuff was locked down, and he wanted stuff quickly. Like, he wanted, like, obscene amount of money from, like, churches and stuff, like, he want like all raised within a month, like unrealistic goals, and he's very much into making a buck, and he is a little shady, but he does have a good shoot job, and I think he does good work, but he does have mental health issues, so you don't know. I think he might even have like split personality disorder. It all depends on which Ian you're going to meet. You're either going to have like the nice ones like, God bless you, brother, I love you, brother, or the others like, you mother effer, you ruined my life, I placed curses upon you, and the vampire god or whatever it is. Like, he's a character. He's probably the biggest character I've met in professional wrestling.
Jay Walks actually was at rehab with Vampiro. So Jay Walk, Pyro's what came in the chat. Jay Walks actually did rehab with Vampiro, if I'm correct.
Well, he did beat Hulk Hogan. So, I mean, beating Hulk Hogan would kind of go to your head a little bit. It would go to my head for sure.
Yeah, he even mentioned when we were still on friendly terms. He even mentioned that to me. He said that was still his career highlight, beating Vampiro on Nitro. Out of all the Mexican stuff, the sold out AAA shows he did over the years, and winning belts.
Hogan, you said that about Hogan or Vampiro?
Oh, when Vampiro pinned Hogan on Nitro, I think
Yes.
You said he beat Vampiro. Vampiro beat Vampiro.
You did say that.
Yeah, Vampiro has a pinfall victory over Hulk Hogan. He beat him, I think, in April 2000 on Nitro with the help of Billy Kidman.
I think it was May. Yeah, it was April or May of 2000 or June. It was either April, May, or June of 2000.
Yes, and that was when he was feuding with Billy Kidman. And I think what happened is Billy Kidman ran into the ring and hit him with a blowtorch, and Vampiro jumped on for the quick pin.
Yeah. I also want to
beat Hogan.
I also want to ask this one question: who would you like to see work for your promotion, Rob? Who would you like to see?
Well, probably either one of the Hardys, like Matt or Jeff Hardy. It's just or Rob Van Dam. But as Christian, probably like a Sting or a Shawn Michaels. Appear, but as workers, the Hardys, I know they have I know they do say they're Christian, so they probably come for a show. We have had interest in the past of having the Young Bucks appear because they are Christians, and we actually have a main event booked for them in the near future if they ever come in. It just all depends how. They're very expensive too, so you have to do a little bit of fundraising to they're bringing them. The Young Bucks even in for one match, it is 6 figures, so it is a few $1,000s. But but you'd be surprised, like with Christian promotions, a lot of talent will actually give you deals compared to like a normal promotion will. Like a lot of times they'll come for half their rate. So there's advantage of having Christian shows. You will get a lot of more flexibility from independent talent.
Yeah. And I want to say this, that I am very fortunate of what I've gotten in the business. I've been doing this for almost 6 years, and I'm right now about a few subscribers away from 600 subscribers.
Nice.
and I'm working,
Nice.
and I got to meet a lot of good people. I got to meet Marty the Moth Martinez from Lucha Underground. I had him on my show. I
Nice.
gotten to speak with Barbara Goodish.
Nice.
You know Barbara Goodish is Frank Goodish. You know who Frank Goodish is?
Mm-hmm.
Bruiser Brody.
Oh, nice. Oh, his daughter?
No. Barbara Goodish is his wife.
Oh, his wife. Oh, cool. Yeah, Bobby actually is friends with Adrian Adonis's daughter.
Yes. Yes. I was talking to her about. She sent me some pictures of her dad that they had back in the day. They were from. I haven't talked to her in a while, but yes, I'm good friends. Well, I consider myself friends with her.
Yeah.
But yeah, Adrian Adonis is one of my favorites of all time now, and I study his stuff a lot. So.
The thing is, if I live in a state that the DiBiase's are not welcome in my state.
I have history with Ted DiBiase. He actually spoke in our church a few times over the years, so I'm very familiar.
Senior or junior?
Senior. The $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase.
Yeah.
Hey, if somebody can give a holler out for Ted DiBiase Jr. or Ted DiBiase Sr., I would love for them to come to Chair Metal Wrestling.
Yeah.
If you can get one of them to come aboard.
Well, you're going to have Marty Jannetty in the near future once he's medically cleared, so that'd be cool.
Yes, Marty Jannetty. I want Rob Van Dam as well. And
yes.
I want to try to get Rob Van Dam, but I'm also maybe Kenny Omega. I just always wanted to face Kenny Omega in the ring, and one day it's going to happen, hopefully.
How's he going to hit the one-winged angel on that one-winged angel of his? He's going he only has one move, that one-winged angel.
Well, he's got a few moves. He has like the knee thing. He has
V-triggers. V-trigger.
Yeah, V-triggers, but yeah, like I got to work with him in 2015, and we had him for a show. He came down and wrestled one of our local guys who was like his trainee, one of the guys that he trained in Winnipeg, and he also wrestled Jesse O'Neill. They had a good match that unfortunately didn't DQ, but Jesse O'Neill is also a great guy. I've worked with him on many occasions. That guy is really down to earth.
Ink. He was in the tag team. He was the guy that played Ink, and with Shannon Moore.
Both great guys. Like, you ever want to have two guys on your show? Shannon Moore and Jesse Neal are probably one of the nicest guys in the business.
Yeah. And the thing is, I'm trying to, in 2021, I started this podcast, and I have so many people that I want on, but the thing is, not doing this for no money is hard. Not having a financial backer. I have no money to pay people. It's just doing it for the publicity for the shows. It helps. I speak to people on. Hold on.
I think something's going on in his yard.
Coming home.
How's only Bobby knows?
Sorry, hold on. Sorry. Hey.
Crazy neighbors?
No, even worse. Crazy nephews.
Oh, nephews. Yes. I have crazy daughters.
Hey, I'm out, man. My phone's canceling off on man.
All right, Bobby. Bobby's phone died, but I guess, yeah, if you have any further questions.
All right, we got. If you want to end early, we can end early.
Sure. It was great being on here. It was great meeting you. And if you ever want to do this again, we're totally open. I can have other guys appear on your show. Maybe I can have Teddy Hart come in here, or like Hernandez or Matt Taven or Ace Austin or any of those guys. All right. Take care, sir. God bless you.
All right. Thank you very much. All right. I'm going to do a few minutes, and then we're going to thank you very much. Guys, that was a great show, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed the show. I hope you guys enjoyed what we're doing here. And I hope you guys are, this is I don't have any. I have those are my only ones right now. I don't have any red. All right. That was a good show. That was a good show. If all right, guys, I might be back tonight. Might be back tonight. Until then, until tonight. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'm gonna let the other host kiss this one, and I'll talk to you guys later. Love you guys. Bye.